Mark. My name is Tony Gonzalez. We are from Spain. This is Rock Magazine. And I was born in Cuba, but I am living here the last 15 years. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Perfect. Thank you. I'm going to start with the questions.
Sure.
Yes. This recording is interesting to us for different reasons. One is that after 2 decades of collaboration with Myles Kennedy, how did you decide to change verse on this album?
We try to approach it differently each and every time just to make sure we're not repeating ourselves and just try to find new inspirations and any kind of different avenues that we can throughout all these years. With eight records now, it's kind of that's the biggest challenge.
Myles is an excellent singer. Did he give you any specific advice to improve your vocal technique or confidence?
No, he's just he's a very different singer than I am. So I'm a baritone, obviously. He's a tenor, and he sings very quietly and trained, and I sing very loudly and untrained. So yeah, we're from different vocal schools.
Tested and Able has one of Alter Bridge's heaviest intros. What was the inspiration for that riff, and how did you decide to sing the song?
Well, I first was writing that song for my other band, Tremonti, and I'd put an arrangement together for that, and I thought the verses were great, but I wasn't happy with the rest of the song, so I kept it aside for Alter Bridge. And then by the time we got it together, since I had already sang it, we decided that I would sing that track, and that's it'll be. I look forward to playing it live.
Part of this album was recorded at 5150 Studios. What were your feelings about working in this significant space?
It was an honor and a privilege to be able to be there and record there. We were the first band outside of a Van Halen family member to be able to record within those walls. So we were very, very blessed to have been able to participate, and the energy in that room is palpable.
You also use the EVH 5153 amplifiers. So do you think that are the perfect amplifier for your sound?
Yeah, the 5153 50-watt head, it blends really well with my existing sound. So it's I'm a big believer in layering different guitar amps to fill out a larger tone. So I have my signature amp, which is the PRS MT 100 mixed with the 5153, and also the Synergy amps with the SLO2 preamp section for my heavy stuff, and I use the Fender Tweed TDLX for the clean stuff on the Synergy, and then obviously the clean channel on my amp as well.
If you could invite Eddie Van Halen into the studio to give you his feedback of one of your riff, which one from this recording will you show him?
I'd probably show him Slave to Master, the outro solo.
I think that a Slave to Master, that is the closest song, is extraordinary, and I think that is very different than one we usually expect for this band.
Yeah, that's the longest song we've ever recorded. It's over 9 minutes long. We didn't really plan on making it a long song, but it just turned out to be this long journey. It has the longest guitar solo we've ever recorded as well, and I think we're very pleased with it. We hope our fans are as well.
There is another song called Scales Are Falling, where classical and progressive influences are evident. How do you decide when to let those influences breathe within the context of Alter Bridge?
It's just a natural thing, trying to not repeat yourself over the years and do something different along the way. That song is, I believe, the second song we've done in Alter Bridge with that tuning. That song is tuned to open G minor. We did that also on Words Darker Than Their Wings, which is a fan favorite. So when I put the music together for this song, I was very excited about it, and glad it turned out the way it did.
So you have won Grammys with Creed, Explore Metal with Tremonti, and now you alternate vocal with Myles in Alter Bridge. Tell me, What personal challenge are you still pursuing as a guitar and composer?
Always just trying to learn on the guitar itself. I'm always trying to learn new things every day. And then as far as a singer, it's just like the guitar. It's just scratching the surface on what you can do with all the training you can do to work and become a better, well-rounded musician. Just trying to always be better, always improve, always learn new things.
At the beginning of this conversation, you told me that this song was firstly for Tremonti, and now I would like to ask you, are there ideas you reserve for Tremonti and other for Alter Bridge?
Sometimes it's yeah, I always try to just put my best foot forward. So if I see an idea that I had worked on in the last couple of years when I was working on another record that didn't get put together, I'll definitely keep it around. Sometimes you write songs for a record that are similar to one another, so you cut one just to keep the flow and the dynamics of the record intact. So sometimes songs get left behind.
When I was looking for information for this recording, I found Tremonti sings Sinatra, and this recording surprised me. So let me tell you, did you imagine that singing Sinatra will help you connect better with your own voice in Alter Bridge?
I mean, I had no idea. I was just having fun with this singing Sinatra style music, and then it's become one of the most important things I've done in my musical career. It's probably my favorite thing that I do now, and I have a show. My next show is with the Sinatra guys here in about 10 days, so I'm looking forward to it. But it's definitely helped me improve approaching the way I sing. It helped me embrace my lower registers, which is really where my voice sits.
Perfect, because I imagine that Tremonti sings Sinatra will be only on recording, not alive. And could you imagine singing without the guitar as a singer, your career?
Yeah, I do that with the Sinatra band. It's just me and a microphone. So it's different, but I love it.
I would like to have an opportunity to see you on Tremonti sings Sinatra, really.
Yeah, I would love to come over to Europe with that. Hopefully one day soon we'll be able to do that. No, we've done many shows. We have 4 shows next month.
I also ask you because maybe it's my idea, but the first verse on Tested and Able looks like Sinatra. Is my idea, or you try to no?
No, that's way higher than I usually. I sing the Sinatra stuff in my deep voice, and I sing that one at the top, very top of my voice.
How do you participate in the evolution of your signature models?
Me and Paul get on the phone a lot, and we discuss any kind of new technology or new updates. And lately, we've been talking a lot about amplifiers. So it's Paul has dabbled in not only electric guitars but acoustic guitars, and now amplifiers and pickup design and even microphones. He's just like me. He's interested in. He's been doing this for a lot longer than I have. He's an audiophile trying to come up with the best tones possible.
And what do you look for in a guitar besides comfort or sound?
Inspiration mainly. So if I want to make it a guitar that I can write music on.
I imagine, of course, that you are happy with the current PRS, but are there any radical change you would like to see in future model, even if it's different from the traditional?
I think we've nailed it at this point. I think a lot of times you look at gear and you're like, the initial ones are the best ones. Why ruin a good thing? So unless something comes along that I'm not aware of, I think we've done a pretty good job of keeping it the way it is now.
I think about this question that for you is easy to answer, but for me sometimes it's difficult to understand. How can you get that heavy riff guitar sounds, is the wall of sounds, in songs like What Are You Waiting For, Tested and Able, Another?
It's in the studio. We just there's many factors. One is finding the right amplifiers. to pair with your guitar, which we did. We have an amp day where we go in and I bring in all my favorite amplifiers. We put each amplifier on a specific fader, and then we mix and match them until we come up with the best combination of amps. And then we take the gain way down in the studio. You know, when you take the gain down, it gets way punchier and more articulate. And then me and Myles will both do 2 tracks of guitar. So we'll quad our guitars. I'll be left and right, Myles will be left and right, and you're hearing pretty much 4 guitars, 2 guitar players just mimicking what they're doing on 2 sides and doubling that. So it's pretty much 4 guitars you're hearing there.
Yes, when you were a teenager or a child and you take the first instrument, was always the guitar, or you start with another instrument?
My very first instrument was the recorder, and then I started playing trumpet after that, and then I maybe played trumpet for a year or 2, and then got into the guitar.
Yes, I think that the guitar match more with you than the trumpet.
Yes.
Yes,
Well, that was just school. They didn't have the electric guitar in school. I would have done it if they had it for me.
yes, but the story said that you work to pay for your first guitar.
Well, yeah. Well, my first guitar was only $10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I imagine that it was 200 or something like that.
Yeah. No, I know Myles' story is he used to shovel his barns to shovel up all the horse poo to save up for his first guitar. But like I said, my guitar was cheap. I worked. I started working when I was really young. But $10 was easy to come by.
If you hadn't gotten that first instrument, the first guitar, where do you think your creativity would have ended up?
I would have found it somewhere. I would have gotten that guitar because I was obsessed with it. But I just like being creative. I like to, I'm very impressed by artists, painters and authors. I love reading books, and I try to write books myself. Just being creative.
Mhm. And as a composer, as a songwriter, have you ever had an idea that you consider too personal to share in a song?
No, I think the more personal, the better. I think that's what makes music real, and it's earnest and real, and that's how I think you should be as a songwriter.
And you have said that alternative tuning unleash your creativity. Have you,
Yes.
yes, have you ever composed an entire song without playing a single string tune in the traditional way?
I've written songs in every combination of starting in standard tuning, and then drop D tuning, and then open D5 tuning, and then open G tuning, and open G minor tuning, and open E tuning, and just on and on and on and on. I've tried it and done it all.
If there could be a collaboration outside of rock, which artist or genre would you choose to challenge your limit as a guitar player and singer?
Um, a lot of I think some of the most talented musicians are the gospel bands, like like um some of the vocalists, especially like in the gospel world. They're some of the most talented people I've seen.
And in the case of Sinatra, why did you choose Sinatra to make this record?
It just was something that spoke to me. Sinatra's kind of my happy place, and it just Sinatra's voice suited mine very well, and I'm absolutely enraptured by his life in general. I think his life was one of the most interesting lives lived, and his career was just amazing to study and try to pay homage to.
Let me tell you a little story. When I was living in Cuba, Sinatra was forbidden the music.
Really?
Yes. And
Wow.
so I learned about Sinatra more here in Spain. And my last question is, if your son or daughter ask you to learn guitar, but in a style opposite to yours, what advice would you give them to find their own voice?
Well, I would say improvise a lot. Don't get caught sounding like every other guitar player. Change your guitar teachers frequently. If you have the same guitar teacher the whole time, you're going to sound like your guitar teacher. most likely. So use many different teachers and many different sources and improvise, do your own thing as much as possible.
Apart from this year, there are plans for Arthur Bridge on tour at the end of the year or next year. Next year, maybe, no?
Yeah, we'll tour all of next year.
Is Europe on the line?
Oh, yes. Yes, multiple times.
If you come to Madrid, I would like to see you, of course, because I enjoy. Let me tell you that I enjoy the way you play the guitar, but I discover all your possibilities when Tremonti the band.
Well, oh, thank you. Yeah, that's we're want to get back over there as soon as possible with Tremonti.
Mark, thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Oh, me too. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Take care.
You too.